You see, if one RAL home got you to your freedom number, would that 2997 be worth it? Oh, all day. If that one home got you and your loved ones to be able to live for free when you needed this care, would that be worth it? Times 1,000, right?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Wealth Webinar. Today's webinar is going to be fire. We got Isabel here from RAL, but let me just kind of sum up a little bit about what today's Wealth Webinar is going to be about. And I want to give you a personal introduction to residential assisted living. And I want you to hear those words, residential assisted living, commonly known as RAL for short. So anyone can find success in residential assisted living if you learn how it works. Now, there's a lot of real estate strategies out there. Some of them are easy, some of them are a little bit more complicated, some are risky, some are a little less risky. This one might be a little more complex to get started, but once you get it started, folks, there is nothing in real estate. I mean, nothing. I don't care if you're a developer, an apartment complex builder. I don't care what you do. Nothing is more profitable than what you're about to see. And nothing is more recession proof than what you're about to see. If this is your first time hearing about residential assisted living, then this is going to be fire for most of you. And I think it just ties in so well with what we just did out in Salt Lake with the launch of Private Money Club. And I think the questions you should be asking yourself right here and right now is, well, what is RAL and how can it work for me? How can I apply this? Well, that's exactly what Isabel's going to do. And let me just end on this one thing. Baby boomers. If any of you have been living under a rock, let me shed some light on you. We are literally right now in one of the largest wealth transfers in history. Baby boomers are retiring. Baby boomers, unfortunately, are graduating. They're calling this the silver tsunami of opportunity. Silver tsunami of opportunity. So think about the next 20 years. We live in a demographic of aging population. Baby boomers, one of the largest demographics there are, they're getting older. And as they get older, some things change. Some of them need a little bit of help. Some of them, things stop working. Ex-pro snowboarders, ex-athletes, legs don't quite work. You need a little extra help. Well, where are they going to go to get this help? Oh, they're going to go to an assisted living facility. Yeah, there's not many seats left. There are not enough options for them, but that's exactly where this opportunity presents itself. And this opportunity has a shelf life, at least today, of no less than 20 years. No less, and probably much longer, but just think of that. This one just gets better and better, and that's almost guaranteed. So RAL Academy's motto is do good and do well. So I'm going to basically turn this over to Isabel. I spoke at their event, and so did Brent Kessler. Oh gosh, about a month ago out in Arizona. It is awesome. There was a couple thousand people at that event. It was really a life-changing event for some of those folks. And now this webinar is going to be a life-changing event for you. So Isabel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. And that was a beautiful introduction. Obviously, we've been able to get to know each other more and more over the last, couple months. And I really appreciate that. And I love what you're doing with the Money School and the Private Money Club. So exciting. So everyone who's here, I know that you're awesome if you are a friend or a follower of Chris, because it's just really incredible, all the movement you guys are having and all the traction. And I'm really excited to be able to partner with you guys in this way. So
we're excited as well. And, Stephen couldn't be more excited because when we're looking for opportunities on Private Money Club, this one's going to be a really popular one.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's get into it. I'm going to be sharing with you the one and done RAL formula, how to start, own, and operate your very own residential assisted living home. And just like Chris was saying, right, it feels like it's not good timing for a lot of things right now. But for us with senior housing, it may or may not be the best timing right now. Just like he was saying, the baby boomers have been driving the economy for the last 70 years. And this is kind of your final chance to take advantage of the trends that they create. Their final wave goodbye, right? The silver tsunami. Timing's never been better. The silent generation is who's currently living in assisted living, and there's only 47 million of them. But the baby boomers, 76 million of them. You can see that green arrow, that spike to the top. Right after World War II, we have this massive boom, right? And the baby boomers had more babies, and it carried on and on. The world just looks different than it did in 1950 or 1960. We just have way more millions of people alive. The 85 plus demographic is the fastest growing demographic on planet Earth today because it was a world war. This isn't something that's just happening here in America. It's happening everywhere. And what we're talking about with residential assisted living is disrupting the senior housing industry, saying no more are big box commercial facilities the only option for our seniors. Kind of like what Uber did to taxi or what Airbnbs did to hotels. We're sneaking our way in saying that there's more, there's better options, and you're probably going to like them a lot more. What's going to change this year? We have been seeing all sorts of changes over the last couple of years, and it feels like every day there's something new, whether it's inflation, recession, gas prices, politics, all these different things going on, interest rates. We could drive ourselves crazy thinking about that. But I like to focus on what's not going to change, because seniors aging and needing care, that's not going away. When money gets tight, people start pulling back. They start vacationing less. They don't go to that Airbnb as much. They don't take that week-long Euro trip or go to Disney with the kids. But you don't stop paying for your loved one's care just because money's tight. You work harder, right? You pull back on luxury, but you keep up necessities, and housing, care, food, those are necessities. Just like Chris shared, our company motto is to do good and do well, because we're going to get into the money on this, and it's exciting. You can't help but get excited when you see some of these numbers, but it's so much more than that. This is an opportunity to make an impact. It's an opportunity to change your life, your family's life, your community's life. And it's really important. So I'm going to keep coming back to this because I want us to remember the heart in all of this. I don't know about any of you, but our journey began with a phone call. We got the call that my grandmother fell and broke her hip and she needed 24/7 care. And we were forced to bump into this world of assisted living, right? Because when someone needs care, they need it and they need it now. So you've got to make those decisions. And we face this dilemma, and some of you may have faced this. It's like, okay, do we give her in-home care, which I'll show you how expensive that can be? Does one of us quit our job and take care of her full time? I wasn't born to be a caregiver, right? That wasn't really looking like a viable option. Or do we put her into a home? And as soon as you say it, you kind of feel icky. You kind of feel like, I promised I wouldn't. I said I would never. But that's exactly the scenario we found ourselves in with my own grandmother. And it was like, what do you do? She lived in upstate New York and nothing was suitable. The average homes, I didn't want to leave my goldfish, let alone my grandmother, right? I was disgusted. They smelled bad energy, waiting lists out the wazoo, and they were so expensive. So we went back to Arizona where we lived, and we said, there's a lot of old people here. There's got to be something more. We stumbled into residential assisted living, and my dad did the quick math to say, I'm either going to be paying $5,000 a month for her to live in this home, or I could own the real estate, own the business, and cash flow $10,000 a month while she lives for free. That's how we got involved in this. And that may be resonating with some of you because you may have a loved one. And if you don't, it's okay, because I guarantee you're going to get involved in senior housing one way or another at some point in your life. If you don't hear anything else that I say this afternoon, I just want to let you know that you will face something in this industry at some point, somehow. So if nothing else, just do one of these homes to set yourself up, your loved ones up for free. Literally, you could do it selfishly. It doesn't have to be about anybody else. It could be about you. And that's great. That's still a very valid reason to get involved. Today, we're going to go through the 5 keys to success in residential assisted living, as well as how to become a preferred real estate provider. I know a lot of you like to do more passive income opportunities, and so this might be an angle that you want to take. Who am I and why should you listen to me? My name's Isabel Garino-Smith. I'm the COO of Residential Assisted Living Academy. I was named top senior housing influencer under 30. My family owns and operates 3 residential assisted living care homes in Arizona, and we invest in about 50 of them across the country. And the lead educator at Residential Assisted Living Academy was named Future Leader by Senior Housing News. And over the last 7 years, I've been working hard building 8 companies, 3 RAL focused companies. I know in the chat, some of you are saying that you recognized my dad's name. He was pretty much a legend in this industry. They called him the godfather of assisted living, right? He'd been featured in magazines and newspapers, TV programs, hundreds of podcasts and books. But what meant the most to me was when Robert Kiyosaki pointed at him from across the room and said, "Hey, that's the RAL guy." And he ran over to my dad and I was like, OMG, do you know him? Like, do you know what's happening right now? And he's like, shh. And Robert came over and he said, "Jean, tell me everything. I see the trends. I know what's happening. This is the place to be. Tell me everything." They met on the Real Estate Guys radio show cruise event and became great friends over the coming years. They met up again at the New Orleans Investment Conference, and he would come to our national convention where Chris was just last month. And we all know and love Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the little purple book about getting out of the rat race. Well, what he saw with RAL was the perfect way to do that. He's invested over $100 million in a big box facility out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And that's how Robert plays. He goes big, and good for him. I'm happy for him of what he's doing, but this isn't about him. This is about you. How much do you need every single month to cover your personal monthly expenses? If you had a check coming in every single month that had this dollar amount written on it, it will cover the house, the car, the kids, the food, the fun. If this number isn't coming top to mind, get a piece of paper out and write it down, because that's your freedom number. Now, in most parts of the country, when I talk about this, the number that gets thrown out most often is about $10,000 a month. Now, I get it. If you live in San Francisco or New York, like Chris, you probably need more, and that's okay, because just one RAL home can get you there. So if you need more, we're talking about 2 properties. That's it. Maybe 3. And if you really need 3 to survive every month, we need to have a separate conversation, right? But why would you want to get involved in residential assisted living? Well, you know that it's where the demographics are going. You're seeing the trends now. You know that this is a timing thing. It's a 20-year wave that's about to begin. Like right now, we're coming into the baby boomers just starting to need this. There's a lot of inevitability about this. You're going to get involved, and this is unstoppable. So you may as well get involved by choice instead of being forced into this like we were. You know, we're not the only ones getting involved. Meg the Stallion just went back to Texas Southern University to learn how to open an assisted living facility. Why would a rapper be getting involved in this? Well, she said it's because her grandmother raised her and she wants to be able to give back, and she sees the trends, she sees the money, and she's trying to set herself up because she might not be rapping forever. Tracy Tudor was at our national convention just about a month ago, and you may recognize her from Bravo's $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. She sees the trends in the luxury real estate market out in Los Angeles, and she said, "I want to get involved. I want to know more about this. Teach me everything." Tyler Perry launched a TV show called Assisted Living. It's like a new age Golden Girls. He's bringing it to mainstream media. And Jimmy Buffett, he's opening Margaritaville themed retirement communities. That sounds pretty fun. I'm not even the biggest fan, but like, I'll go live in paradise with Jimmy. Now, when we talk about the different options for single family investing opportunities, obviously you can do fix and flip, right? You buy a home, you fix it up, you sell it. But as soon as you sell it, you're out of the job. You've got to go get another one and do it again, and another one and do it again. And that sure looks like a rat race to me. Making 20 to 100K one time, this isn't cash flow, it's cash now. So single family rentals, this is cash flow, but a couple $100 a month on each door, it's going to take a lot of doors to get you to your freedom number. And that each door comes with tenants, toilets, possible unpaid rent and drama and destroyed properties. No, thank you. Group homes, maybe you have a heart for those who have clean, sober recovery needs, those who are justice involved or developmentally disabled adults. If that's where your heart lies, group homes are an excellent way to have higher cash flow at $1,000 a month or more. Airbnbs, I love to stay in them. And I know they're like the hottest, trend right now. It's not as sexy to be in senior housing, but Airbnb, you could easily be making $2,000 a month or more on one of those homes. My only issue with this is you've got cities like Atlanta, San Diego, Las Vegas, completely shutting them down, saying no more. Can you even do that here? So I don't want to be in an industry that's under, the hotelier's power. Let's be honest. You've got Marriott coming in and buying up entire neighborhoods and turning them into Airbnbs. Do you think that they have the resources and the staffing and the money to outdo the solopreneur like you or I? Oh, you better believe it. So that doesn't seem like the safest thing. Owning and operating a residential assisted living home, we know that at minimum, this is bringing us in 10 grand a month. Proverbs says, he who doesn't look ahead remains behind. If in 2008, someone handed you a crystal ball, would you have played differently? Probably. This is that same opportunity all over again. This is either going to be a mega crisis in our country, in our world, in your life, or the biggest opportunity that's ever fallen into your lap. You know, I shared with you that my grandmother, we considered in-home care for her. And that's where you have a caregiver come and live in the senior's home with them, 24/7 care. The average cost is $27 an hour. So if someone needs 24/7 care, 27 times 24 times 30 days, that's 19 grand a month. Now, most Americans can't afford that because you have to consider the rent or the mortgage on top of that, the food, the activities, the medication. We're talking $20,000, $25,000 a month. So if you've promised your loved one that, you may want to have another conversation with them because your answer may be changing quite soon. But I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't need to give them 24/7 care. I'll take nights and weekends. I just need someone to watch them while I go to work. That's still going to run you 4 or 5 grand a month, plus, plus, plus. And now you just gave up going to Johnny's soccer game or Sally's ballet practice. No more wine club, book club, poker night. Nope, it's gone. Because when a senior needs help, they need it now. The average cost of assisted living in our country per month, per senior, $4,500 per month. So it's actually quite reasonable when we compare it to the other options. What is residential assisted living? It's a group home for seniors that provides assistance with the residents' activities of daily living. It is not a commercial facility, a Brookdale, a Sunrise, an atrium, long hallways, impersonal staff with massive food halls where you or a loved one is just a number. That is not what we're doing. It's also not the opposite end of the spectrum. For mature women living in a home who need minor help with landscaping or changing a light bulb. No, this is Golden Girls, right? This is independent living. What we're talking about is residential assisted living, homes in single family neighborhoods, regular, homes, right? In usually beautiful neighborhoods, upscale neighborhoods, typically single level, but you can do multi-level, add in a chairlift or elevator, you make it work. Inside, the floors are smooth and clean. There's a lot of sitting space. The furniture is age appropriate. In the bedrooms, you've got beds, dressers, nightstands, and lamps, just like you or I may have. In the bathrooms, they're senior safe, they're accessible. And when we look at who's living in the home, it's none other than our adorable little seniors just living out their golden years. And I love to show this photo because the caregiver is sitting and enjoying with them. And to me, that's really important because if you've ever been in a big box facility where the ratio is 20-1, that caregiver doesn't have the opportunity to sit down, enjoy, get to know these residents, get to know their hearts, their stories, their names. They just don't because they're being overworked and there's too much to do. So you'll usually see them wheel 10 residents in, shove food down their throat, hurry up, get them out for the next batch. And they call a lot of the seniors by the number of their room. That's sad. That's not what we're doing. That's the antithesis of what we're doing. I want to provide seniors everything that they deserve in their golden years. We celebrate everything hard. We have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And that's why we always say it's do good and do well, because that money part is great, but the heart part is even better. The rewards we get in this industry are just endless because I've never received a check for 6 grand wrapped in a love letter until I was in this industry. And now I get 10 a month. The families feel good. They thank you. They appreciate you. Not a lot of investment types are you getting love letters, kind text messages, hugs, flowers, balloons, but we're getting this almost every single month because you're relieving a lot of guilt for them. You're giving them the opportunity to be a daughter or son once again. So what do you really want? Do you want to feel good about your investments and be proud of the work that you do? Do you want to have enough income to live the life you've dreamed of, to not settle, stop working overtime for not enough pay? Or maybe you're to that phase where it's about legacy. It's about growing something, appreciating assets and true wealth to be able to pass down and pass on. Well, the facts and statistics are there's 77 million baby boomers, 10,000 people a day turning 65, 4,000 people a day turning 85. And although 90% of seniors want to stay in their own home, 70% will need daily care for an average of 3.5 years. My crystal ball says they're going to need home and assistance. So that greatest transfer of wealth, oh, you better believe it's not going straight from baby boomers to millennials. It's stopping at assisted living first. And whatever they have left over after the 3.5 years, that's what gets transferred. So Harry S. Dent, the New York Times bestselling author of The Demographic Cliff, said the opportunity of our lifetimes in real estate development and investing is likely to be in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. I want you to hear from him himself.
Yeah, so what Jane's in charge of is this organization called Residential Assisted Living. In your opinion, is that the best real estate play to be in?
It is, because I always tell people, because the baby boom was so large, everything they do as they age is the best sector. People say millennials, there's more millennials. Bull. They're not as big a wave. They're a fraction of the wave. So what assisted living and nursing homes do, they play the last stage of the baby boomers, the largest generation in history, and nobody sees it coming. Nobody.
Oh, we do.
You do. Nobody sees. I bring this up and people say, Harry, what are you smoking? There's oh, the baby boomers already retired. They're already in assisted living. No, they're just starting.
Yeah.
In 2018.
Oh, yeah.
They got 26, 28 years of nonstop growth.
Yeah.
Nothing will grow faster and nobody will see it coming.
Pretty cool to hear them sitting around talking about that. You've got Harry S. Dent, Robert Kiyosaki, my father, the late Gene Garino. You may recognize Jonathan Goldsmith, world's most interesting man from those Dos Equis commercials back in the day. Him and my dad were great friends. And then Brad Upton's there in the corner. He's a hilarious comedian from Comedy Central. Check him out. If you like clean comedy, he's great. Now, you might be thinking, and it might be coming up to your mind, some misconceptions and myths. So let's just knock them out real quick, and then we'll get into the 3 smartest options. Are you going to have to work in the home? Nope, I don't. That's not what I'm teaching you how to do. I want you to work on this business, not in it. You are not a licensed administrator or a licensed caregiver. You may be a medical professional, but this is not what we're doing, signing you up to get a job. You do not have to work in the home. Will the liability be through the roof? Nope. It's about $1 or $2 per day per resident. It's a line item at best. And in our training, we get you involved with the best of the best liability insurance people so that you're protected, your staff and your seniors are all protected and safe. Did all the seniors die from COVID? No. Unlike what people want to tell me on social media, there are still plenty of baby boomers and the silver tsunami is just about to hit our shores. You can't find good employees. Pause. I think this is way more about being a better employer. Over the last 2 years, they called it the Great Resignation. And when surveyed, 70% of people who left their jobs said they did not leave for more money. They left because they didn't feel appreciated. We have to change our culture in the workplace. We have to start loving people and learning what we can do to make them feel valued at work. Who wants to spend the majority of their life in a place where they don't feel respected, they don't feel appreciated? It's not about finding good employees. It's about being a better employer. I don't have any problem with loyalty in any of my homes, and my students don't either, because of the key things that we're implementing that keep the staff around happy and loyal. And the staff even brings other people to come work with us because it's that good. And I want to show you how to do that too. Do you need medical experience? You don't, but if you are a doctor or nurse, that's a feather in your cap, and I want to show you how to market that. An HOA won't let me do this. That's just not true. Because of the Federal Fair Housing Act, which is a federal law, it trumps any city, state, county, neighborhood, HOA, or angry neighbor, right? They can't tell you no. It's discriminatory towards disabled persons. And if you do have someone trying to tell you no, we've got your back. The RAL National Association is there for you. We protect all 30,000 of these care homes across the country. We have the Pinkowski Law Team who's there to fight any of these battles with and for you, and we'll help walk you through this one. You're going to be okay. Seniors can't afford this. I'm going to show you exactly how they do. At the end of the day, it's just a single family home that cash flows way more than all of the other single family investment opportunities. So what are the three smartest options for you to participate in residential assisted living? Well, first, you could own the real estate and lease it to an operator. We call this being a preferred real estate provider. You can get twice the fair market rent. What I mean by that is you've taken a home, you've renovated it, you maybe even got it licensed, it's ready to go, and someone's willing to lease that home from you and pay more for the work that you've done. They will be a long-term low impact tenant. What I mean by that is they don't want to sign a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease like a single family. They want to sign a 3, 5, 8, 10-year lease because they're starting a business. They're establishing roots. They don't want to be kicked out. They're doing their marketing to say, here we are, come visit us. They don't need a new location every year. They're trying to stay. They're a low impact tenant with little or no maintenance. Depending on how you set up that contract, you may not be in charge of the maintenance at all whatsoever. And when I say low impact, what I mean is no pit bulls being bred in the living room, no teenagers punching holes in the wall. No, the home is being kept pristine and clean at all times because they're doing tours with new families. And you have 24/7 staff who's cleaning the home up. So it's always going to be beautiful and nice. The second way you can get involved is to own the real estate and operate the business. This is what we do and what most of our students do. And when I go through the numbers with you in a moment, this will be the category I'm referring to, category number 2. The third way you can get involved is working with people like the Private Money Club to be a private lender or JV partner. That's why we love to partner with people like them, because these deals could be posted on there and then you could be working with them to get in charge of that and be a lender on that. So they're the best of the best. Working with them on deals like this, that's the way to go. Now, how much money can you make? Well, first, you're all across the country right now. Everyone's not in the same place. So we've got to find out, how much does assisted living cost? We found out that the national average was $4,500 a month, but what about your area? This website, screenshot it, write it down, whatever you need, genworth.com/cost of care. When you go there, you'll be able to type in your area code. You'll be able to type in your city and find out the average rates of assisted living in your area. And the reason I love this site is because there's a toggle button. You see, my mom's not going to need care for another 25 years, so I can bump that up and see how much it's going to increase over the coming years. You see, it's already increased 79% over the last 10 years. And the baby boomers haven't hit the shore. It's about to skyrocket. But maybe you're an investor who says, I don't need to invest where I live, right? Live where you want, invest where it makes sense. So you want to know what the most expensive places for assisted living are. Well, these are the top 10 states, and DC is not a state, but they're printing money over there. Their average rate, $6,978 on average. Alaska, $6,830, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Washington, Delaware, all the way down to Connecticut at $5,129. Now, there are price differences within a state. So Connecticut, for example, the state's average is $5,129, but Bridgeport's $6,273. And Hartford right there, then New Haven, Norwich. Now, this doesn't mean if you love mom, you move her to Bridgeport, and if mom didn't love you, you move her to Norwich. No, if you grew up in Hartford and you live in Hartford, mom's probably coming to Hartford, right? You're not going to put her somewhere else just because it's cheaper. That's not how this works. So how can one RAL home set you free? We're going to use the average rates because everyone's from all over here. And so we can't get too in depth, but in our training, we will. But let's use average rates, $4,500 a month times 10 residents. Depending on where you live in the country, you're allowed to have anywhere between 6 and 16 residents in the home. We'll use 10 for easy math. That's bringing us in $45,000 of monthly gross income. But there's a lot of overhead in this industry. Some normal things like cable and food and landscaping, utilities, property insurance and property taxes, and some not so normal things like activities for the residents and business license renewal, caregivers, vacancies, your administrator, liability insurance, right? For the sake of whipping through this as fast as I can today, I want us to just focus on the two numbers at bottom, 20,000 and 30,000. 20,000 is if you plan to be the candlestick maker, the cook, and the baker. You're going to be working in the home, living in the home, taking care of the seniors. That is not what we do, and that's not what I suggest that you do. You're going to hire the proper staff so that you can work on the business, not in it. So we're going to use the $30,000 number for our overhead or our expenses in our little case study here today. Now, debt service. In most parts of the country, can you still get a pretty nice home for $5,000 a month? In most parts. That's leaving us with a monthly net income of $10,000 a month or $120,000 of annual net income on one average RAL home. Remember what I said about the average homes for my grandmother? I didn't want to leave my goldfish, let alone my grandmother. I'm always going to suggest that you go a little nicer, a little above bar. And if we did that, maybe we're charging $5,700 times our same 10 residents, bringing in $57,000 a month. The overhead stays the same because it's the same 10 residents, but our debt service is going to increase from 5 to 7 because it's a nicer home. Maybe it's a bigger lot, more bedrooms and bathrooms in a better part of town. I don't know, but this is leaving us with $20,000 of monthly net or $240,000 of annual net income. That's pretty cool. Now, some of you live in states like Ohio, Texas, Illinois, where you're allowed to have 16 residents in the home. So let's do a 15 bed, a luxury 15 bed. Maybe we're charging $7,000 a month times 15 residents, bringing in $105,000 of monthly gross. Our overhead here is going to increase because we're adding 5 more residents. Also because this is a luxury home. If they want to eat lobster and cheesecake every night, we're giving it to them. If they're paying $7,000 a month, they get whatever they want, and rightfully so. Our debt service is also going to increase up to 15 because if you are having a home for 15 people, it's going to be a big home, right? Most seniors want private bedrooms and private bathrooms. So this may be a custom build. This may be a single family home that you had to do a big addition to, right? This is going to be a really nice, large property. That's leaving us with $40,000 monthly net income or $480,000 of annual net income. How would you be spending that money? Would you go on more vacations with the kids? Would you quit your job? Would you be donating to something? Would you buy that car, buy that boat, buy that second home? Whatever it might be, this is game-changing money. This is life-changing money. One of our students, Brian in New Jersey, this is exactly his numbers. He's charging 7, he's got 15 beds, and he's making 40 a month. That's pretty incredible. In our training, I don't just show you how to do this once, I show you how to scale, because if you're going to do this, I need you to really do it. And also, if you're going to do this, I want you to be able to share your staff because your caregivers are like nurses, right? They're not nurses, but they work like nurses, meaning 8, 10, or 12-hour shifts. So they may be working 3 or 4 days on for you. And if you don't have a second home, they're working 3 or 4 days for Joe Schmo down the street. But if you have multiple homes, they're working for you 3 or 4 days and you 3 or 4 days, they're staying in the same culture and environment, right? They're loving it and you're not paying overtime and they still have their 2 full-time jobs. So I want to show you how to scale this. I want to go through really quick the 5 keys to success, and then I'll share about our class, and then I'll stick around for any Q&A that you guys need. We wouldn't be talking about real estate if we didn't touch on location. But with RAL, it's about density, demand, and demographics. This is not if you build it, they will come. Okay. We have to make sure that the demographics support the need in the area and that the demand is there, as well as the density of the town. We don't want to put it out in a field, out in nowhere, just because real estate's cheaper. Like Chris was saying, I don't care that the interest rates are up. I don't care that real estate's expensive. It doesn't matter in our industry. It's the opportunity that matters, not the investment. It works out. I will pay full price for a home because my numbers will still work. And that's pretty cool that it really doesn't impact us when the market's weird. So what we're talking about is kind of the 5 levels. I want you to always stick in level 3, 4, that sweet spot. Anything, level 1, you can see that home there. We're not leaving grandma in the ghetto. Okay. If you have to bring your gun, or ladies, if you don't feel comfortable going alone, that's not where we're putting an assisted living home. No. And level 5 is like the nicest part of town, manicured lawns, and every home has staff working in it. We don't need her to be at that top end either. Financially, what that looks like is this. If $4,500 is our national average, if a home is charging less than that, it is below average. That may be a government funded home or a home in that level 1-2 zone. I want us to focus on the sweet spot, that level 3-4. Now I know level 5 looks exciting. Ooh, 8 to 10 per month per person. I want that type of home. And trust me, you can do it. Many of our students do it. It's all about the location. If the location can support that price point, you can do it all day. But I'll tell you this, look at the shape of the chart. It gets smaller at the top. Your opportunity zone shrinks the more high end you are, because less people are going to be able to afford that. And if they can afford that, might they also be able to afford in-home care? Possibly. So that sweet spot, that level 3-4 is where we want to stay. Donald and Talinda, they came to our training. We gave them the foundations course before they came. It's these videos that get you in the right headset, heart set, mindset. So when you come to class, you're prepared to soak in the information so you can go out and actually make this happen. They said, thank you to the RAL Academy. It's been amazing. The support we've received from you guys. We wouldn't have been able to make the journey without you. Their gorgeous 12-bed home out in Kansas City is beautiful. I love that little red door right there. All right, number 2 is your team. You know, in real estate, a lot of us are solopreneurs, right? We do everything on our own, but in RAL, nope, you cannot be it. You've got to build your team, repeat it so you can scale. I get to visit my homes. I get to visit. I don't have to visit. I get to visit my homes every other month, every 2 months, I maybe go. Mariella here with the red top, she is my licensed administrator who takes care of all of the day-to-day. I do once a week Zoom calls just like this with her. We chat and she texts me if she needs me, but once a week calls and visiting the home every other month. It didn't start that way, but we built it to become that way. And that's what I want to show you. Deidre out in Connecticut, she said, I never thought I'd own an RAL, but I had to make a plan for myself. We're now cash flowing like we never imagined, leaving a legacy for my children and having a lot of fun in the meantime. I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't give you the same opportunity that we gave to Deidre to become financially free off of her homes. That's pretty incredible. When we talk about the clients, you need to remember that the kids are the key. So who really is the client? It is not the little senior living in the home. It's not grandma, grandpa. It's daughter Judy. That's what we affectionately call the 50 to 70-year-old who chooses the home for mom or dad, sometimes pays for the home for mom or dad. They may be complaining about the home for mom or dad, or hopefully not, and writing you those love letters and giving you those hugs and flowers, because that's what we're trying to do. Over communicate with daughter Judy, give her everything that she wants and needs so she feels confident and comfortable with her loved one in your home. Ogita, she took our online home study course and she ran up to my dad at the national convention a couple years back and she said, thank you. My family's opened 4 homes since we took your course. She's out in Florida and that's pretty incredible. We didn't even meet her in person. You know, I'm not able to shake your guys' hands and give you hugs and meet you here in person, but that's not stopping your success. It's all going to be available to you just like it was to Ogita. Christy and Brad, they're out in Missouri. They said, our vision is to open 100 luxury RAL homes and build the best reputation around and sell them to private equity. We're excited to be in the right place at the right time. Some of you may not have children. I don't have kids yet, and that's okay. Maybe this isn't a legacy play for you. Maybe this is more about building something up, building a strong brand and selling it off and cashing out big. And you can do that. Timing's never been better. We gave them access to the profitability calculator, and it's what they needed to be able to come up with those projections to say, we want to pay more to our caregivers and make our seniors pay less. We want to add more to food and less to this, and do all those numbers so they can have that pro forma to get in front of their investors in their business plan to make sure that the numbers are working. This 4th key to success is getting paid. Do not focus on Medicaid, focus on your private pay residents. And I want you to maximize your long-term care insurance. So we talked about where our seniors, or how are they paying for this? Where does the money come from? It comes from Medicare. Some people who've served 1 day in active duty, it's subsidized by the VA, LTC, or long-term care insurance, or seniors are using their cash, their IRAs, their investments, or selling their physical homes and using that money to pay for their care needs. Of course, there's a large category of seniors who are just saying, I'm going to let my kids figure it out. You see, there's a phrase in nutrition that I think fits very well to assisted living, and it says, failing to prepare means preparing to fail. If you haven't had this conversation with your loved ones, and my assumption is that you're on this call because you're already a highly successful person, you're already a wealthy person, and your family may be looking at you thinking that you're their meal ticket, that you're the one who's going to pay for their care needs. And if you haven't prepared for that, that 3.5 years at $4,500 a month or more, depending on the type of home you want to put them in, for maybe one parent, two parent, maybe even up to four parents, that's a lot. You know, Walt did not trust that his kids would take care of him in the way that he wanted and needed. He built his own custom RAL home, and he lived in it for 15 years until the last year when he became a true resident. You know, when we met him, he was just a legend in the industry. And we said, Walt, come to the training. We want you to tell us what we're missing. You know, you know more than us. You've been in this so long. Tell us everything. He came and he actually said, Gene showed me how I was leaving over $15,000 a month on the table, over $2 million during those 15 years. I was sick to my stomach, but grateful to find out too. You see, if you're in this industry or know someone who is, and you're not making the numbers I've been sharing, come to the training and bring that buddy with you, because there may be small tweaks that you're missing that could 10x your business, but you've got to come. Now, the fifth key is your system, saving yourself time, energy, and money. And if you are type A like me, systems are critical for success. It comes down to team building. We've got to identify, train, and retain the best of the best staff so that you can get to that hands-off part of this, that passive part of this. The real estate, many of you are pros at this, the location, acquisition, renovation. It's just those minor nuances in RAL versus other forms that you may need to know, may need to be exposed to. Funding, you know, working with people like the Private Money Club here, they may be able to show you how to fund your RAL. I'll give you some opportunities, but partnering with incredible companies like them, that's a great way for you to not use your own money to do this. That's exciting. And working with partners, maybe you and your spouse have been wanting to do something together, and maybe this is something you want, you know, to take on. Or maybe it's someone else in your family. Maybe you want to partner with a friend who is a medical professional and do something together. I want to show you how to go about that in the right way. Operations, think of this as the documents, right? The policies and procedures, the emergency plans, the menus and schedules, all of those what ifs. We've got to make sure everything's in alignment so that you can get licensed for success. Sean, one of our incredible students, he did our online home study course. He said, I opened my first home just a couple months after finishing the course. My third home's up and running, and I'm working on my fourth. Hallelujah. I quit my corporate job and I got the Maserati I always dreamed of. That's pretty cool. My dad used to drive a Maserati. So Sean sent me this nice text saying, like, I finally bought mine and I'm just so proud. And his license plate says serve hard. And I love that. He's financially free now because of his RALs. Mark and Jessica, a father-daughter team like me and my dad were, they took our live course and they now have 2 homes up and running. They said, thank you for the support, resources, and encouragement along the way. We gave them the roadmap to success after they left the class, because when you leave, you got all this information, you're excited, but you need that step-by-step plan of exactly what to do next to get to your success. So we gave that to them. Now, I can go through success stories all day, but the real question is, will you be our next success story? I told you in the beginning, I'm doing you a disservice if I don't get you sold on this concept, sold on getting one of these for yourself and your loved ones. But the reality is you have 3 choices right now. 1, you can have a Men in Black moment, flash, forget everything we talked about. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting the same results. Pretend you don't know the imminent silver tsunami is coming. And I wish you the best of luck. 2, you can say, I'm going to go to YouTube University. I don't need you. I'm going to DIY it. I'm going to wish you the best of luck. 3, you can hire me and let me help you build the life of your dreams. My team and I are here to help you. Today, we went through the 5 keys to success. We also touched on the 3 smartest options in residential assisted living and how to do this passively as a preferred real estate provider. I showed you how you can be making $10,000, $20,000, even $40,000 a month on one RAL home. Now, right now, you have 2 options to move forward if you choose to. We have our 3-day fast track training. These are hosted in Phoenix, Arizona. And for those of you who are thinking, I I really am feeling this, right? The do good, the do well. I want to make money. I want to be free. I want to get my time back, get out of my comfort zone and make a change. You might be getting really excited. I have that solution for you. And I invite you to join us at our trainings. We host 8 events per year. We only have 1 left in the 2022 calendar. It's the first week in December. And then we have 8 coming up in 2023. But these events are only for people who are ready to make a change with their lives, for people who are ready to really make a jump and do something different. Everyone who teaches with me at the training is past students just like you who once sat in your same seat, went out and opened homes, and now they're back to educate and train you on what they're doing and the mistakes that they made, the good, the bad, the ugly. We show you step by step how to own and operate your home. We cover the financing, the operations, how to find your home, fund your home, fill your home. We show you how to hire your staff, how to scale to create your 3-pack. We walk you through the business plan, raising capital, getting your license, the policies and procedures. This training is usually $9,997. But Chris and I spoke before this, and I really wanted to give you guys the absolute best discount I can. So today it is a $7,000 discount. That is not available anywhere else. This is not a joke. We recently had our prices go up, and so you will not see this price anywhere else. This is truly for this group here. If you want to bring a business partner or spouse with you, that is absolutely welcome, and it's additional $1,000. But it's with the BBB rule. They have to be your partner in bed, blood, or bank account. Okay. And if you don't know what that means, give me a call and I'll let you know if it's approved. But I want to give you guys some take action bonuses for spending the last couple, moments with me, the last 45 minutes here. The first bonus I want to give you is the foundations course. Those videos that Donald and Talinda were using, right? So they could get started on this, get in the right headset, heart set, mindset, so that when they came to class, they were ready to soak it in, ready to take action, ready to move forward. The next bonus I want to give you is the roadmap to success that Mark and Jessica use, that step-by-step plan of exactly what to do after you leave class. I want to give that to you as a bonus for purchase today. The third bonus is that profitability calculator. For all my math nerds or people who hate math, this is a very easy tool for you to use and be able to plug and play and find out how much money you're going to make and how much money you can put here and there. And it's so much fun. You see, if one RAL home got you to your freedom number, would that 2997 be worth it? Oh, all day. If that one home got you and your loved ones to be able to live for free when you needed this care, would that be worth it? Times 1,000, right? So that price point for you guys today, and I think they can drop in the chat. You can get registered for that at raltraining.com. The promo code you're going to use is for the money school, TMS. Do all caps TMS, raltraining.com. Now, I do want to share with you another opportunity because some of you are saying, I can't travel to Phoenix. It's too hot for me. Okay, I get it. We're starting to cool off and we're finally hitting like the low 80s. But if you want to learn this from the comfort of your own home, we do have an online option. 46 sections, 11 modules. This is my dad's legacy course, right? So he's your main educator on this one. You're going to go through RAL 101, the business, the funding, the real estate, the location, the marketing, how to purchase it, the operations. All of the same content at the 3-day is available in the online, except you're missing the live home tours where we're driving by my home so you can see, touch, feel, understand that. And you're not able to meet the staff and all of their expert topics. And they're coming from all across the country. So you're getting a lot of different perspectives. This online course is lifetime access and it's available to you to go through as much as you like. What you're going to learn is how to find the best opportunities for RAL in any area, how to determine if a property is right, how to attract investors and find the right team, how to fill your home quickly, and how to do it all with or without your own capital. This course, typically $2,497. Again, we're giving you the best possible price we can at $997. Lifetime access. Every day I log on there and you can write your questions and I can write you back and we can go through on chat. For the live course, obviously it's in person. It's a bit more in depth, but very, very similar concept. You can find both of those courses at raltraining.com, and that promo code TMS for the money school will work for both of those to get them down to the most discounted rate possible. Now, there's one take action bonus I want to give you for the online course, and that's the blueprint book. This is one book that my dad wrote just before he passed, and I want to give that to you as a gift for either of your purchases today. So that live course, you've got the roadmap to success, the foundations course, the profitability calculator, the blueprint book, and that live 3-day training. For the online course, you've got that, and you've got your blueprint book, all available to you at raltraining.com, promo code TMS. I want to thank you guys so much for letting me be here with you today. I had a lot of fun, and I'm definitely here to stick around and answer any questions that you guys have. I hope to see many of you in class, and thanks, Chris, so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so very welcome. All right, so the first one comes in from Philip, and Philip said, is this PowerPoint available for viewing after? Now, I know we're going to have the recording of this entire training up on my YouTube at the Chris Naugle. Just go on and subscribe to it, but I think he's asking specifically for the PowerPoints.
I can turn it into a PDF and get it over to you.
All right, next question. Richard, how and where can I find good caregivers to work in the home? That's a good question.
Yes. So caregivers can be found on any of the regular job sites, right? Indeed, and even Craigslist, but there's different tricks and tips that we share in our training. And like one of them is to put English written ads in local newspapers, like your Filipino newspaper, your Romanian newsletter, because 80% of this industry is run by immigrants from other countries. And so getting into that circle is, relationship building. So meeting other people who own and operate homes and meeting other caregivers and then asking them, hey, do you know anyone? And, breaking into that circle. But you can do your regular job posting sites, and then you can also work with like caregiver training schools, and then go after any, targeted newspapers is kind of a cool trick to make sure that, you're getting some excellent caregivers.
So folks, Shauna just chimed in. What we're going to do is we're going to put the PDFs as a link on the YouTube video recording. And now it takes a few days to get that recording edited. So bear with us. I don't know what our turnaround is, but let's just say by Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there, this will be up on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen my YouTube, I don't know where you have been, but go to @the_Chris_Naugle on YouTube, subscribe, and then you can click the alerts button. That way it'll notify you when this video goes up, and then just click the link and all these PowerPoints will be there in a PDF. That's probably the best way for us to deliver it to everybody. Okay, so Bill had a question. He said, how many residents can you have in Arizona?
In Arizona, just because I live there, so I know this, you can have 10 residents in Arizona. I don't know every state, so don't everybody drop your states because the information will stop real quick, but 10 in Arizona.
Said, what is the anticipated startup cost for a 10-bed unit? Staff and insurance have to be significant.
So insurance, like we covered earlier, is about $1 or $2 per day per resident. It's a line item, $300 to $600 with 10 residents, so nothing major. Startup costs really depend on which of the 4 routes you do. Are you buying land and building a custom home from the ground up? That may take you a year or 2, and depending on where you are in the country, that cost varies greatly. The second way is to buy a single family home and convert it to become. Are you doing a 500 square foot addition or a 3,000 square foot addition? That completely depends and totally changes your cost and your price point. Again, depending on where you are in the country, varies greatly because real estate varies greatly. The third way is that you're buying an existing business. You're buying the business, you're buying the real estate, you're up and running, cash flowing day one. This process may take 3 to 6 months, and it absolutely varies in price point. People are willing to pay for speed. So you may overpay, you may underpay. We'll help you walk through that in the training. And then the fourth way that you may want to get involved is leasing a home for this. We talked about how you could be on the end of owning the real estate and leasing it to someone, but you could also be the operator looking to lease a home from someone else. So that again is a different price point, a different timeline. I've seen people in for as low as $300K. I've seen people in for $3 million. It absolutely ranges.
Yeah, Eric, when I spoke in Arizona, they did a VIP dinner, and I sat with a group of individuals that were already doing this. One of them had just finished their first property. It was a pretty big one. Gosh, I think that was like a $3 million deal, but that was because of where it was at. But then they told me the cash. I didn't believe them at first. I'm like, I'm so used to just hearing people throw big numbers. But then we kept talking because we were in the same table all night. That was real. Like, it didn't matter that they put $3 million into this giant house converting it. I don't remember how many beds that was. It was a lot. But they told me the cash flow, the net cash flow, who cares about gross, right? The net number. And literally on that one property, almost everybody on this webinar right now probably could retire on what they were making with this one property. Yes, it's $3 million, but you know what? Go raise the money in private money club. Like, money shouldn't be your barrier to making this happen. Your own mindset is your barrier, because $3 million, it's just adding a zero, right? It's an easy thing to justify when you actually understand the numbers of what these properties and what this system will produce. I mean, I saw it firsthand, folks. I don't do this, but I will say, you know, like, if I found a good operator that maybe was like in the medical field that knew how to operate something like this and they wanted to do it, giddy up and go. Like, call me. Like, I'll find the money. You build it and manage it and do all that, because that's the stuff I just don't have time to do. Anonymous said, do you have to have your real estate license to do this?
You do not.
Okay, that's easy. Anonymous again said, what licenses do you need to get?
So the physical home will have a license on it through the state, and that's mostly based on senior safety. The home doesn't have to be ADA compliant, but it should be as close to that as possible. So ramps, guardrails, safety features of that nature. If you're going to have stairs, adding in a chairlift and an elevator, your different points of egress, wide hallways and doorways, things of that nature. So the physical home will have a license on it. Then the licensed administrator, in real estate world, we may call that the property manager, the PM. That person has their own physical license, right? Which is the ability to run this home, to care for the people, to hire and fire the staff, to run all the day-to-day for you. And then your caregivers are licensed caregivers. They're licensed through the state. So you, as the owner, don't technically have a license. The home does, the admin does, the caregivers do. You don't.
So preferred is private bath per bedroom. So these homes need to be custom.
It's preferred. It's preferred. It doesn't mean it's happening everywhere, right? So it may be a Jack and Jill bath that 2 rooms share. It may be 2 or 3 rooms share 1 bathroom, but it's preferred. So if you are building custom from the ground up, then I would do private ones for each one, because you also have to remember, within the home, every single person is paying a different rate. It's kind of like a Las Vegas hotel. Someone staying in the penthouse paying a lot more, getting an entirely different experience than someone who's on the first floor with 2 queen beds and 14 frat brothers living in the room. Different price points, different experiences. So someone who's living in the master with the master bath is paying something. Someone who's living in a shared bedroom with a shared bath is paying something different. So the more privates you can have, the more cash flow you're getting per person.
Yeah, I mean, you saw those numbers of those samples, like 4,000 to 7,000 per room. Like, just think about that, okay? Like, if you got to rip some walls down and put some bathrooms in to make it like have that, just look at the number, just rip it apart and do it with building permits, please. Yeah. That was one thing I heard from somebody out there. Oh, Dexter, what's up, buddy? So Dexter said 10 residents in a home. How much staff needed to be on site to care for that amount of residents?
Great question. The states do not typically have a rule on this, which is sick and terrible and disgusting, but don't get me on that. Our rule of thumb is 4 to 1 or 5 to 1. So if you have 10 residents, that means I'd want at minimum 2 staff on during the day. And at night, it could be 1 to 8 up to 1 to 10. Now, your administrator is always on call, popping in and out of the houses. So if you own 3 homes, they're visiting each home throughout the day and kind of being where is needed at that day and that time. But on the day, I would say at least 2 for 10 residents and then 1 at night at minimum.
Dexter, you better be thinking about this, man. I know you, and like, this is kind of up your alley, just saying. All right. Miguel said, do I need to have good credit to be able to start?
It depends. Like, if you're going to partner with somebody else, use OPM or work with a company like, Private Money Club, there may be ways around this that you don't necessarily have to use your own money, your own credit, anything like that. Whatever you do have is what the value you're bringing to the table. And I'm hoping for a lot of you that you're adding education to that, because there's a lot of people who don't know what to do with their money, and they're looking for an opportunity. They're looking for someone like you to present something to them. So you got to be prepared for that. And what do you bring to the table? Don't think about what you don't.
Absolutely. So folks, I'm going to put that link up there one more time and the promo code to get the discount. It's right there, raltraining.com, and then enter in the promo section TMS for the discount. So that's all the questions, folks. We're going to do a bonus round after this to talk a little bit about Private Money Club and how that could function as a really good counterpart to doing something like this. But don't put the cart in front of the horse. Don't, go on and raise the money before you learn how to do this. That's not going to get you anywhere. And one other thing too that I learned when I was out there from that group, what the one couple did, they had a very busy business. They didn't have a lot of time, but they found somebody that was, I think, a nurse practitioner that had worked in this space. They partnered with that person. That person ran all the operations, did all the hiring, and did everything. He even said it was a ton of work, but it was so worth it, even though he has a very small percentage of ownership in that house and that company. Even that small percentage based on the amount they were bringing in was a high amount, more than what he made as a registered nurse. So you guys know what registered nurses make today, right? Pretty darn good. And just by managing one house, this person and their profit sharing and what they were doing was making more than being a registered nurse and controlling their destiny and their future. And if you think they're just going to do one, you're sadly mistaken. So I was so honored to be able to go out there and speak at this event to all the VIPs. And not only that, just kind of get around literally the table and learn what they're doing firsthand, hear their struggles, which really the struggles were just time. The biggest thing I heard as a negative is, everybody wanted it to happen faster. They wanted the renovations to happen faster. It took time, but the ones I talked to that were doing this, like you were just mentioning, crushing it. So folks, hopefully this is, an opportunity for some of you, for something you've really been looking for, because I know a lot of people are nervous about the markets, the recession that we're already in, whether you believe it or not, and everything that's happening. This should be a big breath of fresh air. So, the next step, just click the link and get in there and learn. Isabel, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So what I wanted to do is just kind of a bonus section. We got about 20 minutes, folks. So we're going to take this 20 minutes for those of you, and let's talk about the money side to this. So you heard a lot of numbers get thrown around. Some of you, the only number you saw is how much money you can make with this, okay? Hey, that's fine. If that's all you took out of it, great. That's one thing. And some of you, all you heard is a number that had a lot of zeros. You heard 1 million, you heard 3 million. You're like, there's no way I could do that. That is limited mindset thinking. But you know what? I can relate, because not even that many years ago, I would look at these big deals that were 3 million or 2 million, and I'd be like, there's no way. I want the $30,000, the $50,000 deals, because in my mind, that's what I could rationalize. You got to remember, I grew up in a scarcity mindset household where we didn't have much. So I can't just shed that. And I'm sure a lot of you are there, but the thing is it doesn't matter how many zeros. The risk is mitigated by the returns you're going to get. And there's very easy ways in this business where you could raise capital for this type of use, and you can do it very efficiently through partnerships. So that's, I think, something you need to be thinking of. Like, I know everybody wants to just do it all themselves, but doing something like this, you want to be efficient with your time. So finding people, whether it's on Private Money Club and RIAs or in your own network, finding people that might want this. I mean, listen, there was 120 some people on here today. And I'm sure some of those people are going to be in Arizona at that training. I'm sure some of the people are going to buy that online course. But regardless, like, some of these people on here might be your partners or somebody that you want. And where you're going to find them is Private Money Club. So, Stephen, I know you just did a demo on this, but if it's okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah. For those of you that haven't seen the new Private Money Club, here it is. Every single day we are making improvements. Now, some people, I know you're like, well, this didn't work or that didn't work. Of course, we have little bugs. Like, it's a brand new software that we pretty much developed from ground up. There's minor little bugs. Are any of them bugs big? No. So most of you, if you get into Private Money Club, you're going to be looking for the bugs. You won't even know where they are. I know where they are. Stephen knows where they are, because we're on the darn thing every day. Just yesterday, I did one deal on Private Money Club. And actually, let me just show you this. So if any of you aren't in Private Money Club, go on and join. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. You can come in, you can just watch the show. This is a free offer. Okay, so you just click join free, and you can go in there for free. You can window shop, you put all your info in, and you can just, like, kind of walking around when you're downtown New York City, you're just looking in the windows. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's really cool. But eventually you're going to be done window shopping and you're going to be ready to go. So right now we have extended that $9.97 price because we want to get the bugs fixed. So till November 4th, I believe, and don't hold me to that, it could be sooner if we fix everything sooner. $997 is going to be the annual cost to be in. And if you get in, and then a lot of people, some people are like currently unavailable to accept deals in the following states. So these are the excluded states right now. Some people are like, oh, Arizona, that's where I live. That's where I would do this RAL. I'm not going to join. Stop. We just launched, and we are doing this the right way legally, which means every single state has different laws and different rules. So our attorney literally needs to call every one of these states and verify what private money club needs to do to be compliant. I can tell you out of these 13 states that are excluded, and when I say excluded, it doesn't mean you can't be a lender. You can be in every one of these states and be a lender. But if you have a deal in Arizona and you post it on Private Money Club, you're not going to be able to post that deal yet. It's coming soon. 13 states are the total. 7 of them we'll have on very soon. We have a call with the attorney. He literally just needs to go through and call the regulators and make sure that we're compliant. We're not playing games with Private Money Club. We're doing it by the book. So don't let that exclude you or make you be like, oh, I guess it's not for me, and then just play your little boo-hoo thing. Like, give us a little time, okay? But when you come in and you actually do join Private Money Club, okay, whether you're free or not, it's going to look like this. Lots of features, lots of cool things. If you want all the features, you can just kind of go on and do it yourself. You got 2 people. You got people with money and people that need money. And then you got some newest deals. So this is the deal I just funded right here. And the best part is, when I wanted to do this, I just went on, I looked at it. What I liked about it was a small dollar amount. I had some excess money in my banking policy and I just wanted to move it. So 12%. This guy's posted a bunch of deals. I've gotten to know him at the front level. I've, gone through the process of asking him for his loan package, and he's done his homework. He's a good borrower and knows what's up. This is a great deal, just so you know. But when I wanted to communicate with him, all I did is I just went up. Actually, here, let me just show you something else. I'll just show you how I did it. Hopefully it works because this deal is funded by me now. So let's just see if we can get it to work. Actually, it might not because that deal's already funded. I just don't think it's flipped over. Let's see. Give it a time. Yeah, okay. So it hasn't flipped over yet. So he hasn't gone through the process of the guidelines, but it will. And all I would have done, or all I actually did, is I went in here and I said, I'm interested. I said, I want to see the loan package, and I typed in some things I wanted. I sent it. He immediately sent me back the loan package, and then we just began chatting. And the chat works just like your phone. I don't know how many of you actually chat with people, but it's going to look a lot like, I'll just use this one just because this is us. It's going to look a lot like you're texting. And if you want to upload documents, you just click that little add attachment. So like when I needed stuff from that borrower, they just put it in here, and then I just saved it. So let me give you a future look. Eventually we'll have a full dashboard. It might take us a year to build it or however long, but we're gonna have a full dashboard where all the documents can be stored, all your deals can be stored. But for right now, it does everything it needs. I just printed the documents out and I got the deal done. And once he clicked the button, he was brought into a section that was the guidelines, all the next steps that he has to do in order to make the deal complete. So as he gets them done, promissory note, mortgage, all these, he clicks the buttons. And then when the deal is completed, then the attorneys or the title companies kick in. So it's a really, really, really cool site, no matter what level you're on. And the connections that you can make on here. So for RAL, some of the connections you can make, you can just go in and you just want to search lenders that are willing to lend $250,000 or more. You just do that, and it's going to pull up. I got a lot of people to connect with. There's been a lot of new members. We're at about 1,600 members total right now. And yeah, wow, it's I can't even keep up with connecting with people. But all these people, either they all have the different criteria in that you're doing, looking to lend. So I know they have over 250,000 they're looking to. I know he has over 250,000. All these folks have over 250,000 that they're looking to lend. And then you can just go in, you can view their profile, you can check them out, begin conversations, even just ask them, hey, I'm thinking about doing this residential assisted living. What are your thoughts and how would you like to do it? You want to post your RAL deal once you get it. It's super easy. Stephen did a demo on this. You just follow the prompts. I mean, we're making it even easier, but we really couldn't make it too much simpler than it is. In the app, we've had an app, but we have not launched it yet. It's available. You can go to any app store and download it, and you just go to the PMC. Okay, so the PMC, and there you have your app. Okay. The app right now, we had some functionality problems with the messaging, but I just saw the demo, me and Steven saw it. It's getting there. So, the other thing too is Steven's going to, be very, Steven and Shauna, the executive team are going to be very, very influential in building out Private Money Club and helping get all these things. So Steven, let me just kind of turn it over to you. What do you think about this assisted living stuff for Private Money Club?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a great fit. I mean, it goes back to what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks and what we're focusing on, moving forward as far as, why real estate, why now, and the importance of being, smart with what you're doing, in real estate, from an investor standpoint. So, looking at the types of properties that in down markets are going to be smart investments, things where we can go in, drive value and create the increase in the investment and make money that way. And residential assisted living kind of combines all of that, because you're able to pick up the property, if you do it right at a discount, then you can go in and instead of rehabbing it, you're basically reconfiguring it to make it, ready for this type of, property. And then from there, it's all about cash flow, and the market that we're entering right now, cash flow is king. It's going to be one of those things where, hey, maybe you're not making huge profits in a flip or something of that nature, but can we create something that's generating a lot of cash flow? And, as we all know, apartment complexes and some of the commercial properties, the cap rates have just dropped like crazy because that's where the hedge funds have been the last few years. And it's really created a ton of competition. But the residential assisted living space, we don't see that competition right now. It's a little more involved. It's a little more niche. And that's where you want to be when everything else is saturated and the competition's there. So I love it. And then just being able to, on the lender side, I want to be smart with where I'm lending my money. On the borrower side, where can you find a better pool of investors that are looking for what you have? Chris, I don't have time to go out and do a residential assisted living property myself, but I would love to be able to invest in one and lend on one and be involved with it that way. So to me, it's the perfect marriage.
Is RAL and what they're offering something that fits into your category? And if it's the money that you're concerned on, well, we've got the solution for that. And if it's the operations that you're concerned on, well, there's probably somebody that can, kind of like what Steven said. Like if it were me, I don't want to operate a, residential assisted living. I don't have the expertise, the criteria, or the time, but I might be able to have the money to do it. So again, that's what Private Money Club was put together for, is to facilitate those two sides, the money with the opportunity. I think it's a great thing. Just bear with us a little bit. You guys should really look at some of the launches of, Apple and all these other companies. They've all had bugs and we are working through them at record speed. So just bear with us on those like tiny little things, and believe in the vision of it and what it's going to do to change your life and a lot of other people's lives. Because I promise you, Private Money Club will change the world of finance.
No, it's great for today. I mean, this is awesome. And with these, wealth webinars, we want to bring more and more education, more and more training. I mean, and so, if anybody has any good ideas, we're doing a lot of, planning right now for 2023. And so if anybody has different topics or things that you guys, have been, looking at in the real estate space, investing space, financial space, money space, that you feel like we could, bring value to these wealth webinars. We'd love to hear your ideas. I mean, we're, one of the beautiful things about Money School and what we do, is it's the community. And, that's why we love the experienced mastermind that we do. We're talking, Shauna writes Mexico in the chat box. I guess she wants you to talk more about it, Chris. We don't really talk about this stuff enough, maybe, but we do a lot of really cool events that maybe people don't know about. And that's what they're all for, though, is the community. And so we want to make, the community is going to be more and more, and that's what it's all about. So we appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. Go out there, join the YouTube channel, subscribe, share this with your friends. It's a free webinar, and we're just going to bring more and more value moving forward. So.
Yeah. So folks, this is what's up next. All right. So for any of you that were in Salt Lake City, that was the second experience that we've done. The third experience that we've done. Wow, I'm losing track of time. But this one's going to take the cake. So many of you may or may not know that many years ago, me and my wife bought a place in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, which is just outside of Cancun. And it is in a 5 diamond, don't hold me, 4 or 5 diamond resort called the Azul Fives. And what's unique about the Azul Fives is every one of the the places, every one of the rooms or villas, we'll call them, they're all independently owned by people like me and my wife. But then we put them in a rental pool, and the resort owner, which is a company out of Spain, they manage it all. But let me just kind of take you through what this is, because there are only 17 tickets left. This is going to be in April of next year. And when I say this is paradise, that's an understatement. You've probably been to Mexico, but you've never seen any place like this. I mean, this right here, this is awesome. This is like a little center area. This is the one restaurant here. You got restaurants above, you got bars, you got Starbucks, all sorts of stuff. And you can sit here. This is tranquil at night, all lit up. Everything is like wooden walkways. These are what the rooms look like. Okay. So every room, this is what you're going to walk out to. Some of them are actually swim up. That one doesn't show the swim up rooms. This is like the little thing where you can take photos. We are always out in the water. You can get massages on the beach. You can kind of go out here. This is just one of the upper balcony decks that you play on or go on. These are the main two pools that overlook the ocean. But, you know, it's like you guys have all seen, you know, all-inclusive resorts, maybe not ones this beautiful, but you've all been to them. So let's really talk about what makes this one special. When you arrive at the Cancun airport, you'll be picked up by, it'll be some type of a luxury vehicle, black car or black truck. It will drive you to the resort. When you get out of the car, you will be met by your butler. That's right. You're going to have your own personal concierge. Every one of the 25 attendees has their own personal concierge butler. That butler can be, you know, communicated with through Slack. Okay. Or I'm sorry, no, WhatsApp, not Slack. I get those two confused. Through WhatsApp. They are there to serve you. Okay. It's all inclusive. You can tip them, which I would advise you do, because then they get you anything. When you tell them what you want in your fridge, they stock your fridge. When you're out of beer or wine, they bring more. Anything you want. When you want to go to dinner, they book that. When you want to ride to the beach, they give you a ride. I mean, everything. It is 100% all inclusive. You pay for nothing except for your ticket and your airfare out there. And then we also have got, I would say, some of the best excursions we've ever put together for any event, because we're going to go to Tulum, we're going to go to the ruins, and then we've got a special thing, which I'm not going to say because Shauna would kill me, but we've got a special experience, one that you'll probably never experience in your lifetime, that we're going to be doing, and we're working on the final details of that. So 17 tickets left, folks. I'll put the link in the chat. Do not wait on this one, because I promise you, out of all the experiences, well, we've sold out of every one, but out of all of them, this one will sell out the fastest. Let's see. Shauna said through the community, shout out Dexter, Starbucks. They never have coffee in Mexico, just booze. Yeah, there's plenty of booze, but there's also a lot of coffee. There's also a little, for those of you that like your smoothies, there's a smoothie shop. Again, it's all inclusive. You can upgrade to like their fancy smoothies, and I think it's like a couple bucks, but there's the link. Don't delay. Right now, Shauna, if I'm not mistaken, there are some payment options, I think. Yes. So you can do 2 payments, 4 payments, and then you can buy 2 tickets if you want to go with somebody. So there's the stuff for that. But I don't know. I'm super excited because I haven't been to my place in Mexico since COVID started. And this will be my first time back, and I get to share it with 25 of you. So get your tickets, and I'll see you in Mexico next time. All right, Stephen, that's a wrap, man. This was a good one. Isabel crushed it, and I'm glad you guys all got to learn about RAL. So, folks, that's a wrap for today's wealth webinar. We'll see a bunch of you at the Ask Me Anything at 4:30 Eastern time today. Join us on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll see you then. Have a good day. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We're putting up tons of them, but I think if you like this one, you'll probably like that video as well. Not only that, I've got a book that I created, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery, where we actually show you what the wealthy do in the game they play with money. I want you to have that for free. And if you want to know about all my new videos coming up, click that alert button, actually smash that alert button, and you'll be notified every time we put a new video. So we'll see you on the next episode.